Build compelling real-time apps quickly and scale them globally with the PubNub real-time network. Only PubNub delivers the core building blocks needed for any real-time application. Find out for yourself by signing up for free today. Visit pubnub.com. Welcome to This Week in Location-Based Marketing, the most trusted podcast dedicated to the new business of location. It is time for This Week in Location-Based Marketing. We are at episode number 151. Today is October 11th, 2013. That is when we were recording it. My name is Rob Woodbridge from Untether.tv, located in balmy Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. With me, as usual, Mr. Asif Khan. Buddy,
Asif Khan from the Location-Based Marketing Association. And
how is Toronto?
It's nice. It's warm. It's sunny. Traffic sucks, but it's good. It's a long weekend here. It's the Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. So happy Thanksgiving to all of my fellow Canadians. I unfortunately will not be celebrating Thanksgiving because I will be in Dallas on Sunday and Monday with Americans
who don't understand that this is Canadian Thanksgiving.
That's okay though. I get to go to the Cowboys-Redskins game.
That is awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, see, if you lead a charmed life. Every once in a while, you get to travel to someplace and do something fun like that, right?
Yeah, every once in a while.
Once in a while. And, have you guys already planned, has Toronto planned the Stanley Cup winning parade, final parade there?
Well, the route's been planned for a long time. It's just whether we can actually execute on that.
It's always planned. From day one, it has been planned.
It's been planned, and the team's playing well. What can I say?
I love that. I love that approach. It's always been planned, man. It's always been planned. Yeah. It's like the Yankees. They always plan it at the first day of the season.
Go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers. I'm bummed about the old Pittsburgh Pirates. I was hoping that I would see the Pittsburgh Pirates play continuously, but I can't argue with the quality baseball that's about to happen. Man, oh man.
Yeah.
We got a jammed show. Asif, you spent some time in beautiful, awesome, high energy San Francisco this past week for an LBMA event. Why don't you give us a little bit of a wrap up of what happened?
Yeah, so actually, even before the LBMA event, I went out there for the Place conference, which is the world's first gathering of everybody in the indoor location space. So we had, Aisle 411 and Point Inside and Estimote and, basically everybody who's in that industry. Netclearance, who we're going to talk about, was there. I mean, our friends over at Stick and Find that we talked about on the show a little while ago, they gave me some Stick and Finds, so thank you guys for that. They were all there. So it was great. It was great to see the industry gather. Greg Sterling, Opus Research, that whole crew put that together. So that was awesome, and to kind of hear everybody's approach. And there's definitely varying opinions on the future of indoor location. Everybody understands it's big, it's hot, it's going to be a huge market. But is it Wi-Fi? Is it BLE? Is it ultrasound? Is it magnetic fields? Who's going to own it?
All of the above. None of the above.
It's all the above. Who's going to own it? Is the retailer going to ultimately own it and tell the CPGs what to do? Are the CPGs going to use this technology to jump over the retailer and go direct to the consumer in store? Yes. All of that was discussed, and it was interesting, and it was a great event. So
did they come to a conclusion in any of that? Because
no, of course not.
No.
So, but anyways, it was definitely a worthwhile event. And then we had our own event, LBMA San Francisco chapter event, which was equally awesome. Good. We had Jeremy Geiger from Retailigence gave a nice keynote there. We're going to talk about them today. We had Mara Lewis from Stop.at, who we haven't talked about those guys for like 2 years on the show, but they pioneered check-ins on the web, right? Foursquare for the web.
That's right.
So it's interesting to see what they're doing now. So that was really cool. We had one of the guys from Indoors, the Austrian company, who was in town, also on that panel. So it was a very wide discussion. We had one of the guys from Groupon in the crowd, so we pulled him into the mix. We had Anne Bezikon from Placecast was in the crowd, so we pulled her into the discussion. It was really fun. Esri was there. It was cool. So
that is
good event. Yeah, good discussion. Lots of stuff to talk about. So
good energy there. Right? There's a little bit of energy in San Francisco.
There is,
Yeah.
yeah, lots of, I mean, always lots of energy, right? And then my last thing, just to wrap up before we jump into the stuff today, is I met Russ Hammond at the Placecast show. Russ works for Mood Media, a company we've talked about a few times on this show, and he's a big fan of the show. So shout out to you, Russ. Great to meet you. Thanks for telling us that you watched the show. And so much so that I was so impressed. He literally has somebody that transcribes every episode of the show into written form so that he can read it every week. He pulled me over on his laptop and he shows me this full file folder with every episode transcribed. So Russ, we love you. Thank you for that, man. Looking forward to working with you. And yeah, keep it up.
Russ Hammond, man, I love that. We should have them transcribed. We should have every episode transcribed.
Yeah.
We just got to find a sponsor for that. Somebody sponsors us, we'll get them all transcribed.
Yeah,
How's that?
I mean, Russ is already doing it. So, Russ, if you want to come on and just provide the transcriptions, we'll give you some credit. How's that?
Yeah, we will. We'll throw you some love. We'll give you the episodes for free. Oh,
yeah.
wait.
Well, we already do that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Russ, for watching this. Thank you guys all for watching this or listening to this, wherever you are. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have just one thing to talk about very quickly. It's the Open Mobile Summit. It is an event that is happening in San Francisco on the 12th to 14th of November this year. And you can get more information about that at openmobilemedia.com. I'm going to be going down there. Untether's a media sponsor. I love these kind of events, the smaller events, but really, really, really amazing speakers. Check them out at openmobilemedia.com, the 12th to the 14th of November. And I'll be there. I get to go to San Francisco again. It doesn't take much to get me to go. Okay, I'll go. All right, we have obviously our six amazing stories. Our special guest of the week is a guy by the name of Dave Roesch, who's the Director of Marketing for the Atlantic City Convention and Visitors Authority, also known as the ACCVA. That's what they're called. You may recall we had a clip from an upcoming episode from a guy by the name of Cree, and his company's name is Arrivalist, and this is the group that he helped when it was, to bring visitors into Atlantic City, and then once they're in there, to measure how they got there and the effectiveness of their marketing campaign. So we're going to talk, I had a really great conversation with Dave to talk about how he's using location very specifically inside of Atlantic City to drive visitors to Atlantic City into restaurants and attractions. So very cool. We've got our special app of the week, which is TempoRun, and of course our resource of the week to finish it all off. But before we have that, we have our Mobile Minute with Chuck Martin. And you know what? I can't even believe that we're thinking about this, but it is today, October 11th. We're just about done Thanksgiving in Canada. We're just about to get into Thanksgiving in the U.S. We got to start talking about Christmas, don't we, Asif?
Yeah, we do.
Unfortunately,
we do. So why not? Why wait? Let's do it now.
Well, it's and here it is. Here's the we're looking at mobile's impact on this Christmas and on the retail industry. So here's Chuck Martin talking about that. It is time for another Mobile Minute. I cannot believe we're thinking about this right now, but Christmas is coming, holiday shopping is coming. What is mobile's impact this year?
It's going to be big again. It may actually top a record, which is really kind of interesting because it keeps topping them every year. If we were at a recent conference at the Mobile Conference in New York, and Josh Chasen, who's the chief research officer of ComScore, which is an extremely well-known research firm, he basically was talking about how much time people are spending. 85% of time is spent on apps. 15% on browsers. So people are they've got the sophistication, capability, the power in their hands if they want to use it. And almost $5 billion was spent on mobile commerce in the second quarter. That's up 23% from the same time last year. And he's looking at holiday shopping this year, topping $10 billion in spending. So that's off the charts.
What about the difference between the tablet user and the smartphone user? There's got to be some numbers that show the difference between those two.
Well, desktop is still where it's at in terms of purchase, and then tablets after that, and smartphones after that. The issue is really, and we've talked about this in the show quite a lot. It's what's influencing the purchase, not just where's the transaction. So if you look at only where the transaction is, you could really be missing the boat in terms of what's causing the decision to buy.
Chuck Martin, everybody. Mobile Minute. You can find them all at untether.tv. You can subscribe there or just check them out, and they go up pretty much every single day. Thank you, Chuck, for letting us use that. Thank you, Chuck, for doing that with me. I really appreciate it. All right. Sif, TempoRun, buddy.
Look at you on your daily morning 6 a.m. run through the cold weather. Now that's what I call dedication. You are listening to your music and trying to find that perfect song for your run. The first song in your playlist is by far the slowest song that could possibly come on. The tempo is just too slow, so you skip to the next song. This one's even worse. The pace of the track is way too fast and you cannot keep up. How annoying, right? Your music has once again thrown off your running stride. Thankfully, we have the solution. Say hello to TempoRun. Our revolutionary new app will take all the music on your phone and categorize each song into specific levels based on tempo. So while listening to a certain level, every song will be the same, perfect tempo that you enjoy running to. And hey, if you don't have your own music, we have you covered with our streaming Tempo Radio. TempoRun is going to sync your run and your music. And that, my friend, is going to make you a happier, stronger runner. The perfect run is only a download away.
Yeah. So a little while ago, this has been out for a while. It's not a new app, but something I recently discovered and just thought was really cool, called TempoRun. And TempoRun is interesting. It's basically, you know, if you're out for your morning run or your whatever run and you're listening to music, you can basically take your music and assign them tempos, and basically it will play music that matches the speed that you're running. Pretty simple concept, but kind of cool, right? Like it makes running a little bit more fun for those of us who hate running, like me.
Does it do it for you?
Well,
because that's the only way that I'll be out there running.
You know, I think running is about pace, right? I think for a lot of people, and if you can, you know, say, hey, you want to increase your pace, and you can find the right music to match that, then I think that's an interesting concept. So, pretty cool stuff.
See, running is about puking to me. That's
well,
what it is. Yeah, it's like it's dry heaves and keeling over with cramps.
Yeah,
that's what running is to me. Is there a tempo song that actually allows me to do that?
It's definitely not Springsteen, right?
It's like Sinead O'Connor, right? That's my pace right there.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
or the Spice Girls. Let's go with the
Spice Girls. Yes. Yeah. No, I run at the pace of Sinead O'Connor, right? Which is slower than my walk.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. So TempoRun, you can find this. I think this is an iPhone only application. But this is a neat idea, I suppose. If I ran,
it's
I had the stamina.
It's kind of cool. Yeah.
I wonder if they have the running to the bus stop, right? Which is like basically like a blister in the sun, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like or short songs like that. Anyways, TempoRun. This is a good idea for those that are actively inclined or running inclined.
There you go.
I'm not running.
Which I'm not either. So, but yes. Anyhow.
Have you ever seen? Did you ever watch
promote.
Friends when you were, back in the day? Of course, everybody.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Remember that there was this one where Phoebe, the character Phoebe Buffay, ran in Central Park in the way that she ran. Do you remember this one?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I'm going to roll a clip right now, just very quickly as we're talking about this, and this is how I run, okay? So if you're watching the video right now, the episode, you will actually see Phoebe Buffay running, and it's actually hysterical, and that's me running. So I don't think TempoRun can make it any better for me. All right, we've got our first three stories. We're going to start with this one, which is an app called SpyMeSat.
Yes.
And apparently this is the first app that actually notifies you. I mean, you have to give up your location. You tell them where you are, but it's actually the first app that actually notifies you when you are within range of an imaging satellite that, a satellite that can actually take your picture or could be taking your picture. So it's basically, it monitors all the satellites in space that actually have the ability to take a photo, and it warns you or notifies you when one is passing over your location. So I don't know what you can do, like run and hide under a concrete bridge or something like that.
Well, that's when you pull your. I don't know what you do. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you pull out your aluminum foil hat and you run, right? So this also means you can identify where your location is, or you can pick a location and say, I want to know when this picture, a picture taking satellite or an imaging satellite can go over this location. So it's real-time positioning of satellites, which is pretty cool. It's if you're paranoid and you don't want your photo taken by satellites from space, which I think is freaking cool. And anybody out there who has pictures of me from space, please let me know. I'd like to see them. But this is one of the odd uses of the combination of your location, available data, and mobile.
Yeah, it's awesome actually, and this is from a company called Orbit Logic. I actually met these guys when I was doing that panel with NASA and the military guys on Capitol Hill, and it's weird because this is not a consumer-facing company, Orbit Logic. Like they build military applications; that's their prime business. So to actually do something like this, that basically is not core to their business and provide a feature set like this for consumers is pretty cool, I think.
Well, yeah, and I mean this is so far beyond what they seem to be able to do, but or what they do for business. But this is obviously just a cool tool. But you can do so much with it. What do they say here? The user can drill down to look at the details of any satellite that's passed by. Say dynamic map, graphic update, and real-time positioning and imaging resolution information displayed on the satellite as it flies overhead. And you can see a picture and description of the satellite itself. And I think that if you're a space junkie, this is something that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
So SpyMeSat, that's SpyMesat.com if you'd like some more information. Pretty cool. Awesome. So you had Retailigence in our second story is around Retailigence. You had Retailigence at the LBMA event in San Francisco, and they just make some announcements, didn't they?
Yeah, they announced this new platform about called Reserve Online, basically. So the idea is Retailigence is a company that's kind of focused on the online to offline conversion, right? Local search. You're looking for stuff. Is the product actually available in inventory, in store, near you? So they've been doing that for a long time. And they probably have, I think, the biggest database in the world of real-time product inventory data. So that's cool in itself. So now that what they've added is this new service where you find the product and you can actually put it on hold for pickup in store, at a store near you. So I think that's really, really, really cool. I think, people, when they're looking for something, they're buying something. We all do our research online, right? Before we actually go to the store for big purchases, TVs and things of that nature, right? So even for clothes, I think to some extent. But so this idea of a reserve pickup and knowing that the store actually has the product in stock is huge. And one of the things I brought up with Jeremy on the panel, which I think we're in agreement in, is there's this kind of thing that's developing right now where you have all these mobile shopping apps, these location-based things with deals and coupons. And, if you use one of those things and you've been waiting for a product to go on sale and all of a sudden you get an offer on it and it says, hey, save 20% today on that jacket. And you've been waiting for that jacket to go on sale. So all of a sudden you see this offer, you're happy, right? Because you've been waiting for that. But that can quickly turn to a negative experience if you then go to the store and find the product's not actually there. And obviously that's the store's issue, but you'll have a tendency to associate that negative feeling back to the app that gave you the offer, right? And so I think there needs to be this closed loop thing of I search for something, there's something I'm interested in, is it actually available? I can go get it right now, or I can put it on hold to pick it up. So I like it.
This is something that Best Buy and Future Shop here in Canada have had for quite some time, where you can buy on their website and then pick it up in store that day. Yeah. I always wonder what happens with things like same day delivery, when that starts to happen, is this still as relevant as it once was, right? Where you can see the inventory, and I can see that still on Best Buy. And I can't believe that I'm using Best Buy and Future Shop as examples of doing things right. But they've had this for maybe a year now, where you can order on the website and then pick up in store. But I wonder what that same day delivery does to impact something like this, the online to offline piece.
Well, I think it's huge, right? And on a slightly different tangent, I mean, Staples announced this morning, I don't know if you saw that, they're going to match Amazon pricing both online and offline now in store. Staples is apparently the number 2 after Amazon in e-commerce transactions. I had no idea until I read this release this morning, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because it's an e-commerce competitive play, but the fact that they're also going to match it in store is huge, right? And now if you can add an inventory reserve piece, I think that it becomes really interesting.
Right. I mean, I'm all for this kind of thing, and and this is something that who's again, we say this all the time, whose time has come, because there's that great statistic that they float around. This is that most of the consumers buy in the store, like the majority, the vast majority, no matter what we talk about and how we spend. The majority of the consumers buy in store, and but the web has a huge influence on on the transactions and where you do it. And to capture somebody who is thinking of buying but wants the tactile experience of buying in store is very important, because it influences, what did they say, like up to $2 trillion worth of offline spend.
Yeah.
The web does. So capture them when they're hot. All right, our third story here is, Steve. This is what we've often talked about around quick serve restaurants, leveraging location, and Pandora, Jack in the Box, getting into this.
Yeah, so Pandora's been in the game for a while of doing location-based ad targeting, but it's interesting to see a brand like Jack in the Box jump on this. And what I liked about this is, a lot of restaurants are, QSRs in particular, are using location, but they're doing it in a geofencing model. Primarily, it's, hey, we'll geofence our stores. When somebody comes nearby, we'll pop an ad to them. That's not what Jack in the Box and Pandora are doing, however. This is targeted by time of day in particular. So they're actually focused on promoting a new line of burgers that they have on their late night menu. So these ads are only served after 9 p.m. in Pandora. It's a branded radio station in Pandora. It's a Jack in the Box radio station where this stuff is happening. So it's an ad for the burgers that pop into this radio station. And what I like about it is the location piece is interesting, because the map or the directions actually comes right into the ad itself. Like, it's not a standalone thing. It can be. You can push it out to Google Maps if you want, but they pull this right into the ad, which is really interesting. So you pop in your zip code, it knows your location based on that, and then it pulls it right in, from that perspective. So it's kind of cool how they're actually delivering this in a branded radio station and a map inside of the ad.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I don't get this whole like Jack in the Box radio station. I mean, who in their right mind would tune into the Jack in the Box radio station?
I don't know, but apparently it's working for them. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I think branded radio is interesting, or let's call it
sponsored radio, right? Like
sponsored radio or
branded
place lists. I mean, this is no different in some respects than Coca-Cola's place lists that we talked about before, right? Yeah. Which I think is interesting, right? To say, well, here, Coke has said, well, here's a playlist that we've created for Toronto. Here's a playlist for New York, and they call them place lists. And so, in the similar fashion, I think this is a Jack in the Box branded play, with assuming they understand their demographic and who goes to Jack in the Box, and they're picking music based on some of that data would be my assumption. It doesn't say that in this announcement, but you got to think so.
And is that Jack in the Box radio station only available after 9? Because that's when this deal is, right? So these ads start popping up only after 9 p.m. because that's when the special begins. And I don't know who can. It's obviously a young demographic, because I don't know who can eat that new burger after 9 p.m. if you're our age, right? Goes right to the hips. Right to the hips.
Exactly.
Well, this is. I like the context. So context, like location doesn't play into this really, because what they're asking for you when in the ad is your zip code, right? So if you're in Pandora listening to the station, it pops up with after 9, the ad happens, and if you're interested in it, you click on it and you put in your zip code, and then it tells you the closest Jack in the Box. So it's not location at all, although it tells you it integrates location into it through, as you said, bringing the map in. But this is really about just time sensitive, right?
Yep.
So that's pretty interesting. You don't have to be in Times Square to get this ad. You just have to be listening after 9 p.m. Done.
Awesome.
Cool.
There you go. Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box. Those are the first 3 stories. We're going to jump into this a section of an interview that I did with Dave Roesch, who is the Director of Marketing at the Atlantic City Convention and Visitors Authority. And we're just going to be talking about how they've leveraged location marketing to actually focus and target visitors into Atlantic City. This is a fascinating interview. It'll be up in a number of weeks on Untethered.tv. You're getting a sneak peek right now at an episode that won't be live for probably another 3 weeks. But this is Dave Roesch talking about how Atlantic City leverages location-based marketing to drive visitor interaction with their local retailers, restaurants, and events. Take it away, Dave. Do you use mobile to attract the local residents, or just outside of Atlantic City to come in? Is that how you get them in the door, so to speak?
Yeah, mobily we took a different approach the last couple of months for mobile. After we saw the arrivalist data start formulating, and we saw these big contrasts of visitation after time of exposure, impressions to arrival and all that stuff. I took a different approach, and I had gone to Korean arrivals and said, okay, listen, we are now monitoring their arrivals to the destination. We're seeing when they're coming, we're seeing their funnel to get here. How can we take advantage of that? So we're throwing banner ads out there, and everyone's in a different network, and everyone's just
it's tough.
Retargeting campaigns and the network, and it's off keyword searches and it's all this and all that. But I said, let's take advantage of this captivated audience that's already here. Is there a way to serve these guys in-market banners? And one approach we did is we hooked up with Arrivalist again, and we served in-market banners to people who we knew were here. And we did a great beta test with 6 or 8 of our local attractions that offered coupons on the website. And, for example, we did the Epseekin Lighthouse, which sounds like it's in a different town, but it's actually in the city. It's one of the largest lighthouses on the East Coast. East Coast, huge attraction for the city, right? So we had they had 49 coupon visits to their coupon page on the mobile site, and that was last year. This year they've had over 2,300. So as this person's walking down the boardwalk, and it's all geolocated, so as soon as somebody's walking down the boardwalk and they go on weather.com, they're going to get served a banner that could say Epseekin Lighthouse, $4 off admission. Epseekin admission to Lucy the Elephant, $1 off admission. And they went from 49 coupon visits in 2012 to 2,300 this year.
It's incredible.
So we hooked up with them, and we did that, and it turned out great. And then we hooked up with Xtify, which does just ads on our mobole site.
So we know Josh over at Xtify. They just got bought by.
They just got bought. Congratulations to them.
I know.
I haven't sent them an email yet, but I was like, now they're going to be living the dream.
Now they're going to be expensive.
Yeah, now they're going to be expensive. yeah, right. So we did a case study with them too. We were working on a case study, and we saw this. What was an idea of an opportunity with Korean arrivalists, and we turned it into let's try it. Let's take it. And we saw a 10-time lift in CTR rate on our in-market ads.
Come on.
So they're here. Let's just give them things to do. And what's the best way to do that? Everybody wants something that's discounted. So let's do something discounted and see what we can do. And hard for our attractions to keep track of that stuff because they're not on sophisticated systems. But they saw increases. Lucy the Elephant, I think, and this, don't hold me to this, but they had 20 more coupon redemptions in 1 month.
I am recording this, so I'm going to hold you to it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. We're filming this.
20 more visits,
Yeah.
20 more coupon redemptions in a month. So, and, so they saw it.
I mean, it just seems, okay, so you're using Arrivalist, you're using Xtify, you are a sophisticated mobile marketer, man. Is this what all cities are like?
I don't know.
Well,
I would hope so, and if they're not, I think they should really look into this stuff because it's a different kind of marketing. They're here. How can you not be successful if someone's here walking our boardwalk? How can we not? How can we not say, hey, check, go have lunch at XYZ restaurant? How can we not give them those ideas? They're on our mobile site. We know they're on our mobile site planning. open up those zones to get those in-market ads. So as they're driving down the parkway or they're driving down the expressway, here's something to do,
And so are you paying for the ads for these guys? Like,
Yes.
you're paying for this? This is you guys putting ads in that are location-based ads that are just there to drive traffic to your local merchants.
Yeah, that's the ACCVA's, one of their number one jobs is for us is to market Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And we've opened up the advertising opportunity for our partners we're partner based, so people pay a fee to be part of our organization. They can advertise with us and stuff like that. So we've actually put this onto our media sheet for next year for our partners to buy impressions with us. And if they don't, we've already agreed with Arrivalist to buy a large amount of impressions for next year to, just to drive visitation and here's some great things to do. And if, the partners are seeing it, if somebody wants to buy on and say, hey, listen, I'd love to offer, this offer on your banner ads for 3 months. A lot of them don't have big budgets. A lot of them are, just non-for-profit businesses that are large attractions. So, we help them out as much as we can.
What was their reaction to this? So I gotta assume, like, Dave, you walk in, you say, listen, this is what we're gonna do: location-based marketing, geofencing, coupons. We're gonna do this all through this little thing called a smartphone, and we're gonna drive traffic and footfall, and we're gonna drive revenue. And we're gonna help you. And what was their reaction from a merchant restaurant, destination perspective?
They were really excited.
They were okay. So
yeah, they were stoked. I said, I called each one of them and I said, here's what we do. You're nice enough to put a coupon on the website, right? So people can get them through the mobile site. What I want to do is I want to do a test with your okay, and I'm going to advertise these with mobile banners. And all I want you to do is roughly keep track of how they're working.
Okay.
And they were like, absolutely awesome. The not-for-profits were so excited. Anything we can do to help them out. I talk to those guys often. They're great to work with. All our partners are great to work with. Everybody's so flexible with us. They give us stuff to give away. They give us stuff to help promote. So they were just really excited to anything to help get feet in their doors.
And that is Dave Roesch, the Director of Marketing for the Atlantic City Convention and Visitors Authority. Look for the whole episode, which is incredible. Great insight about how a city like Atlantic City markets themselves, not only locally, but nationally and internationally, and the way that they've split up their market mix. It is unbelievably interesting. And this guy, Dave, he's a poster child. He's a poster boy for how cities should be marketing. He was using Xtify, right? He gets it. Anyways, and Arrivalist. And I think that guys like him, destined for greatness when it comes to marketing. Wow. Anyways,
there you go.
Dave Roesch.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right, let's jump back into this. Our fourth story, Netclearance. They launch a multi-mode indoor location beacon. Huh? What is that?
Well, basically, we've been talking about indoor location forever, right, on the show now, and I just came back from the conference, as I said at the beginning. So I think the important thing to point out here around this thing, and this is a really fast story, is to say this is the first time I've seen a beacon that is multi-mode, which means it's not just BLE or just Wi-Fi, it's both in the same device. Which is interesting. It's about ubiquity and supporting as many platforms and coverage as possible. The problem I have with this, if there is one, is that ultimately I think the hardware side of this business becomes a commodity business, yes. Right? So you need to be a software company around this. When you talk to companies like Estimote and such, that's what they're focused on, is the software. It's not. Everybody, I think, knows that this hardware business is just commodity at the end of the day. And so it's cool that right now, we have multi-mode beacons. Nice. Good for some retailers that, can't decide whether they're going BLE or Wi-Fi. So let's just do both. I like it. If the price point's good, I think that these guys can make some money. But ultimately, they better figure out the software side.
Yes, they better figure it out. Maybe this multi-mode for BLE and Wi-Fi is because BLE is embraced certainly with the iBeacon technology and the iPhone, and it's not available on every platform for Android. But what they say, you're right. They say it can work with or without a mobile app, which, I still think that you're right, that software layer is the most important thing. But it combines indoor location-based services with offline analytics and uses a single web-based platform to find that, to get all that information. So you're right. Hardware, hardware is, like, it's not like I don't like hardware, but it's not where the interesting stuff happens. Like, the challenge is to get a piece of hardware on your wrist or a piece of hardware in front of you, and then the magic happens because you have committed to that hardware or that platform. So, it's almost like we talk about this even with Estimote. We talk about this with iBeacon. It's like, give that stuff away. Don't charge anybody. I mean, even, the little sensors that you got, give that stuff away because it's the software interaction that you want, right? That's where you're going to be able to create the value. The hardware, as you said, it's a commodity. So, So Netclearance, and I have a challenge here I have a problem with their name. I don't know where they, Netclearance. What are they doing? Netclearance.
I don't know. I have no idea, dude.
Anyway, I don't want to be critical about that, but that's all I've got.
Well, why not? I mean, we haven't been too critical today, so you might as well be critical.
Yeah, and that's not that bad. I mean, it's a legacy name. They probably don't like it either. Okay. So our next story, Asif, which is so freaking cool. You bring these amazing stories. This involves Disney and some electric paper, right?
Yeah, the paper generator.
The paper generator. Like, this is actually developing finger-powered or motion-powered energy using paper, ultimately.
Yeah, so it's taking friction and turning it into something. I love it.
I do too. And this is only Disney could come up with something like this. So the idea is that they take a thin, flexible sheet of Teflon, and they put it between two conductive layers of metallic-sized polyester. And they serve as electrodes, and then there's an electrical charge accumulates right on, like, this is so complicated, but it accumulates right on the Teflon sheet when the paper is rubbed against it, and then the electrodes are made to move relative to each other against the sheet. So it actually generates an alternating current, and it lights bulbs or it animates things on a screen, and it does it just through motion. And this video that's playing right now shows you exactly what it is. Like, it's so easy to put together. I mean, if you have metallicized polyester and Teflon, but this is really freaking cool. What could this be used for?
Well, I mean, so when I saw this story this week and decided to pull it out, it was, I went back in my mind to the McDonald's Happy Table thing that we talked about before, right? So, for me, I think about, packaging, I think about tables, I think about, fixtures in stores and what we can do to kind of, again, it's about creating experiential stuff in a store environment, in a restaurant environment, in a wherever. So, having this stuff built into those materials where people can interact with it and do cool things, and that for me is what makes this very location based, right? It's when you use this in an experiential way to create something that drives people to your location, to your destination. And I think the fact that it's self-powered is cool, because that means that in theory, you could do something like this outdoors, like where you don't have power in the middle of nowhere, like, right? So I think that's interesting. So that's kind of where I'm, excited about this, the potential of this.
The devices only produce, they basically produce a small current, only like a few hundred microamps, but up to 1,000 volts, which is ideal for triggering kind of like an e-ink thing, paper displays and those kind of things. So, like, we're getting close to this. On a previous show, we talked about this other technology that did proximity payments. Remember, we talked about the proximity payments without actually just over the airwaves, leveraging the airwaves.
Yeah, remember that guy with the ambient backscatter?
That's it. Ambient, good memory on you. Ambient backscatter, right? No battery power, just using the electrical waves in the air to actually do a transaction. And so we're starting to see this kind of stuff emerge. There's a whole bunch of people trying to figure out how to, build a better battery, and there's people trying to optimize batteries, but here they are trying to leverage what you've got around you in order to be able to circumvent the battery altogether. I'm not saying that this will work, but my goodness, this is pretty cool. It's a trend that is coming. We're starting to see a trend here, folks.
We are.
Ambient backscatter.
A battery-free world.
Oh, batteries not included and not needed. Ooh, it would save me thousands of dollars a year.
I mean, think of what, I mean, I know this is Disney, but think what Fisher-Price could do with this. Yeah. I mean, this is pretty cool.
Well, they're talking about using this for interactive books, posters, printed materials. These are the things like that. Like I like the whole do-it-yourself and the the maker movement. You can certainly this is pretty neat. And Disney.
Yeah.
Wow.
What if you could 3D print this stuff and then just power something that you made? Like
well,
that. Cool.
You know what? I'm pretty sure that's on the way. In the video that would have been playing while we were talking about this, there was a little scene where they printed some stuff out and they showed you two connectors, and then you rub the two connectors. Anyways, it's pretty fascinating. This is really, really cool. This is the kind of technology that gets me excited.
Yeah.
All right, our last story, man, number 6. Asif, why don't you take this one? I am fascinated. Well, I was watching the video here. I'll play it very quickly, and then we'll come back and talk about it, but it made me hungry. So we're talking about a company called Fooda, and they consider themselves, a virtual cafeteria for the office. So take a look at this video. We'll be right back.
You run a company and want it to be successful. That means going beyond the usual corporate incentives for your employees. Improving the workplace with new and interesting benefits can be the difference when trying to maintain a happy workforce. How do you do it without adding extra cost to the budget? Meet Fooda. Fooda is the way to foster a productive staff while supporting local restaurants all at the same time. Fooda brings a different restaurant right to your office every day. Not delivery, but an actual restaurant. At Fooda, we created a network of restaurants by first testing them out ourselves. We make sure to bring new tastes from outside your own neighborhood. Once chosen, the restaurants will pop up right in your office, lobby, or large meeting room. They serve up fresh food right before your very eyes. Then, your staff can pop in, order food, and pay for their own meal in the most convenient way to them, just like an actual restaurant. And tomorrow, a totally different restaurant pops up in the same spot. Fooda is already popping up in offices everywhere. The best part is that Fooda does most of the heavy lifting. We get your office connected by email. Send daily updates of the food schedule to those who opt in. Oh, and keep your workers involved with Fooda Fights, where the group can vote on future restaurants. Voila! No more hunger with no extra work for you. If your office is the type of place that likes to offer unique employee benefits, values productive workers, and enjoys great food at little or no cost to the company, then you're going to like Fooda. Visit Fooda.com to get your company well-fed and working hard.
So that's Fooda. What do you think about this, Asif?
I absolutely love this. I think this is a great thing for the business world and for the local restaurant. So this is, perhaps I'm not so surprised this is coming from Chicago, one of the best, food places in all of North America. Also home of Groupon, where you can see models like this, sort of rubbing off on other people. So, but what I love about this is the business model is really is interesting here, because they're, and maybe, you saw the video, so, just to kind of, clarify that a little bit. What they're doing is they're going out, working deals with local restaurateurs to help bring some visibility to their product by bringing their food into an office environment, right? And so basically every day of the week you have a different restaurant coming in. I think the frequency is you can't be in the rotation more than every 3 weeks. So it's pretty neat, like, this idea of being able to try new stuff without you leaving your office, but at the same time get exposed to local food near you. And then if you get hooked on something, obviously then, you're going to go to that place, or you're going to order from them online, or you're going to do something else. So I love the local element to this, and they're charging the restaurateur, for the privilege of bringing them in, and the people in the offices are paying full price for this stuff, right? So it's really cool.
Yeah, if you're a startup that can't afford, to feed your employees a lunch every day, at least what you can do is you can bring it in. Now, there's a whole bunch of challenges, not challenges, a whole bunch of things that, startups talk about, which is productivity. So they validate the fact that they bring meals in so people don't leave, and they take longer than their hour at lunch, and they keep them in the office when they feed them. So why not do that here? But then the employees can pay full fare. And if you really want to do it, you can't afford the $8 or $9 for the food, you can subsidize it. Say take $2 off and make it really affordable. Make it a $5 lunch. I love the fact that employees have to pay. I just, I'm old school like that, but I also like the fact that for the restaurants, the local restaurants, this is hard to scale, but for those local restaurants that are looking to, bring in new clientele, this is a perfect opportunity to audition your food in front of a captive audience, maybe however many people are in the office, but to introduce your restaurant and your food to a captive audience is all at once like that is incredible. Huge opportunity. I love the local focus.
Especially if you're in the catering business, right?
Yeah.
Where you're doing business lunches and things like that. I mean, it works obviously if you're not, if you're just trying to, generate new clients for your business, it works either way. But I like it. It really makes sense. So
I wonder if some of these restaurants walk in there with a coupon, right? So that they say, listen, we're here for this lunch, but if you come to the restaurant, you get 20% off. I think that's the best way. I wonder if they're allowed to do that at all, but I would hope that they would be, because that's a great way to, shop local, be proud of the restaurants that you have in your environment or in your city. And I think that's there's nothing wrong with this. I couldn't find anything wrong with this. I love it. I want to bring Fooda here in Ottawa and bring them into my living room and cook me dinner every night.
I love it. I think it's great. And so for me, I mean, the other interesting thing about this is all those big companies that run corporate cafeterias on university campuses and in big, this is the new business model, guys. Check it out.
It is. I wonder if some of these small mom and pop restaurants can't do the big companies, but you know what? I think that you're right. This is the new business model. Wow. Yeah. Fooda.com. Wicked awesome idea. That's what we'll say. Wicked awesome idea.
Love it.
From Chicago. And I gather they've just moved into New York City as well. I think the challenge here for them is scale, right? Is it one city at a time, and it's a very slow rollout because you've got to work the relationships with the restaurants, and that's the challenge that they're going to have.
Absolutely. And guys, if the Fooda guys, if you're listening to this, I'm going to be in Chicago twice in the next couple of weeks, so I'd love to connect with you guys in person and kind of get firsthand where you're going with this. So let's try and set that up.
Fooda.com, Fooda.com. 6 stories nailed in the bag in record time. Plus our special guest Dave Roesch, plus our mobile minute, plus our app of the week. We've got our resource left. Here we go. The most effective local mobile targeting strategy is...
Da-da-da-da.
What could it be?
What could it be, Rob? I don't know. What is it?
My goodness. Well, that's the resource of the week, right? So we've got
the resource of the week comes from Business Insider. Put this thing together, and there's basically it's a BI intelligence report that's out with click-through rate by targeting strategy is the chart. It's the one chart that you need to focus on here, and it's looking at what's the most effective, and it goes down from geo-aware to geo-fence, then by city, then by zip, then by DMA, then by audience, and then by third-party place-based audience. So obviously geo-aware and geo-fencing is huge, and everybody should be doing it. That's the message. There's nothing more that needs to be said, right?
Yeah, because the engagement rate is a third more than the third place, and 4 times more than anything else. So yes, you're right. But it's still the click-through rates and the engagement rates are still 1%, right? It's still shitty.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the best of the shitty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well said, Rob. Well said.
Exactly. Well, you've seen the video, or the picture. I just posted it up there in front right now. But this is the most effective local mobile targeting strategy is to obviously do this, location based and geofenced. Obviously, we knew that. We've been talking about that for almost 3 years now.
Yeah. Somebody else just put it on a chart, though. Rob. There you go.
We should be putting stuff on charts. The problem is it's just 2 guys talking. We should be doing drawings and cartoons and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Remember,
we gotta get on that.
Remember the infographic rage that happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that?
I don't know.
The other thing is, I was thinking out just aloud the other day, maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and I was like, remember the turntable rage? Like everybody was like, "Oh, turntable.fm, it's the best thing ever," and then it's like. Where did
I still have an actual real turntable. So
exactly. I have this thing called iTunes or an iPhone, right? That plays all this music.
I still have vinyl in somewhere.
Yeah, well, turntable.fm, they just resurfaced with this with a new service, and who cares? You missed your chance.
Yeah.
Bye. Gone.
And remember, aren't those the same guys that were doing Sticky Bits or something, and then they moved over to turntable.fm?
That's right.
Wasn't it them? So they pivoted from Sticky Bits, which was cool,
Yeah.
to Turntable.fm.
Which was a complete licensing fiasco and nightmare. And everybody was on it. It's like, this is the rage. This is a new thing. I remember all those social guys like Saka and Vaynerchuk. They were all over this. And then it's like, what? No. Like, it's like 3 days later. Nobody remembers you. It's kind of like the way I think of Medium, right? Which is the Twitter founders who are trying to reinvent the news industry and publishing. Like, it's for the elite, and it's only the elite that are writing on it, and they haven't opened it up, and who gives a shit, right? It's the same thing I felt about Turntable. A lot of companies like that. See, I had to get a rant in there because all these stories were great, Steve. So, anyway.
Sorry, man. I tried to bring you some negative stuff every week, but this week I just couldn't pull it off.
Getting a reputation. I sat with a group this week, and they're like, we'd really like you to come in and be you. And I'm like, what does that mean, be you? Just out of curiosity. And he said, well, look, poke holes and look for, like, be critical and be angry at us. And I'm like, wait. No, I'm a nice guy. This is just a character I play on television. Right?
Yeah.
Man.
Right.
So I got to start smiling more or something like that.
I don't know.
Oh,
It works, though.
Yes.
Let's stick with it.
All right. So that's it. We are done this episode, number 151. Asif, are you in the city this week, or are you taking it easy? No, you're heading out to Dallas. That's right, to go and watch a football
Dallas on Sunday. There for one of our members has a conference on Monday, and then I'm in Chicago Tuesday for the DMA, the Direct Marketing Association, has their conference, and Gary Schwartz and I and a few others are doing a panel, which will be fun.
Wicked. I love Gary. Yes, Impact Mobile Gary. All right. Well, safe travels, my friend. We'll be back next week for episode number 152. We're inching ever so close to our 3rd anniversary.
Awesome.
Cupcakes, baby.
Candles are going to be ready.
Oh, my goodness. Wherever you are, listen, we've only got one thing that we ask you each and every episode. It's whether we do it expressly or we do it a little bit subversively. I'd love you if you can go and give us a rating on whatever podcasting software you got this from, or leave a comment for us anywhere you see this, whether that's on the LBMA.com or on tether.tv. We'd love to hear from you. Put up your hand. Say hi, just like Russ Hammond did to Asif in person. You can do it digitally. We'll talk about you like this. We'll keep you. We'll read your comments. We'd appreciate it if you actually did that for us. That's our currency. It's what pays us. It's the good karma that we get, and we'd appreciate it if you did that for us. Of course, we'd love you to do that. And you know what? Then come back next week, because we'll do this all over again in 1 week's time.
There you go.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Asif, safe travels, man.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Oh, and Russ Hammond, we love you. Slam your body down and move it all around. My kids love the Spice Girls. You believe that? My kids,
They've just discovered the Spice Girls?
they've just discovered the Spice Girls, yes.
Interesting.
And they're like, Dad, why don't you like the Spice Girls? I'm like, well, I don't not like them, but they're awesome. Dad, I love the Spice Girls. Stupid. I love them. So now they're every day it's like all I hear is in my head is the Spice Girls. All right. On revient. 3, 2, 1.